I'm Ashton from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have David Gokhshtein, congressional candidate and founder of Gokhshtein Lifestyle Magazine. David, thanks so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Ashton, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive deep with you today on a number of exciting topics. But if you could start the interview by just giving a little background on yourself, how you got into entrepreneurial ventures, tech, and into politics.
Background is pretty much in the automotive industry. I've been in the automotive industry for about 10 plus years. At the same time, though, I got interested in blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and around 2014, started studying it, got interested, and got into it. And here ever since. And now it's essentially what I love doing, and obviously Gokhshtein Media was built on that.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And, I think we have a like-minded idea towards, how we want to see this industry grow. And I've been working on media myself since about the same time. Could you give the viewers a little insight into, what did you want to see for the industry when you started Gokhshtein Lifestyle and Crypto Magazine, and what's the sort of image that the audience portrays the magazine at right now?
I mean, the magazine was started to go ahead and provide an outlet which is extremely blunt. So, we're going to call it how it is. We're not, and we might offend some people that we actually know, but we're going to call it as it is. We're going to provide super education on crypto, blockchain, and also, you know what? We're all stuck in the space 24/7, crypto, blockchain. We're all into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, what's Ripple doing? But at the end of the day, you have to get away from that mentally. And that's where the lifestyle part comes in. Because for me personally, I'd want to read in the magazine about clothing or traveling. And if you ever pick up, and the magazine's free, you can pick it up. You can see exactly what we do, where, it incorporates crypto, but it also shows you the world, which I like. And we just go out of bounds with it.
Totally. And I really like what you guys are doing with that, partially because crypto is bringing the world together through globalization and breaking down barriers, but also being blunt about it in the way you're approaching it, because throughout the last few years, there's been some hype cycles, and a lot of people, although it's helped gain interest in the industry, there's only so much hype people can have. And if you're hyping up things, usually that leads to shortfalls as well. So to be blunt about it and be direct, and to of course be educational, because it is a very technical industry, and we're still early on. There's a lot of industry knowledge that people need to sort of get before they put their money where their mouth is. So have you guys been focused on super basic educational cryptocurrency intros, or also for people that are in the industry as well?
We're trying to build something where people stop focusing on price. Because, do you know what Bitcoin is? Do you know what, Litecoin is? People don't. They're focused on the price. And I understand 95% of the people that jumped in 2017 was all about the price. And obviously the market came down. Some people left. Some people called, certain things, for lack of a better word, garbage. But at the end of the day, nobody actually educated themselves on cryptocurrency and blockchain. So that's essentially what Gokhshtein Media does. And Gokhshtein Magazine especially, we educate. We do basic education, basic 101 to what this cryptocurrency represents, and, what is blockchain. So we try to give you the beginner's guide, and then we go from there. That's really it. And that's our services also. When we go ahead and provide services, we focus on basic education of cryptocurrency and blockchain. So we keep it simple, very simple.
That's great. And yeah, and I know what you mean. Despite the prices going down, it's nothing that hasn't happened before with, for example, Amazon, which dropped 95%, but it had the fundamentals to remain in the internet industry from when it started, and now, it's $1 trillion company. And something like, not saying that this is what's going to happen, but something like Ethereum has sort of followed in those same footsteps. It's had a solid foundation. It has a lot of fundamental value with smart contracts and removing counterparties and automating processes, and it's also dropped 95% in value. But there's a lot to learn about that technology and the advantage it has, just as Amazon has an advantage of getting things to your door, the next day. So, what do you see for 2020 as we now move into the new year, in terms of some of the large projects actually delivering products and services into the mainstream that people that aren't familiar with the intricacies of cryptocurrency will actually start to use and take advantage of?
I hope I was expecting a lot of these projects to start delivering now. We've gone through the crypto winter, as they call it. You'll see a lot of the projects that'll stay here for the long term, focused on building their projects and making them better, period. 2020, I see a lot of those projects that, had the ICOs. I personally see them disappearing. I feel like 50% of those ICOs and IEOs now will essentially disappear in 2020, and then you'll finally see the Amazons, like you spoke about earlier, and which would be like Bitcoin, Litecoin. I really do believe in Ripple and XRP to go ahead and take it to the next level. Obviously, we know about all their partnerships, especially with MoneyGram. So like projects that are working and not focusing on their price. And I talk to a lot of projects. They're not focused on their price. They're focused on their projects.
Yeah.
I see in 2020, those projects will stay. Their prices will increase. And the other ones will just, they will no longer be in this space. We'll be pretty much bag holders of those cryptocurrencies that we bought into in 2017. Listen, I bought into some of the hype. I tell people that all the time. I bought into, in 2017, you didn't know which one to go ahead and pick. It was just, oh my God, look at the white paper. The white paper was designed, beautiful. It was like Picasso, looking at a Picasso painting, and then, 6 months later, they're talking about they're shutting down, or they were hacked, or their co-founder ran away. So at the end of the day, research is essential. When people say do your own research, don't listen to, and there's no offense. I have a lot of friends, I guess a lot of friends on social media that, I probably speak to all the time, more than people in real life, about, cryptocurrency and blockchain. But I wouldn't go ahead and sit back and get my information from somebody dressed up in a chicken, especially when you're investing money. An avatar that has a chicken or a Gumby display on it, I would avoid that and really look into. Listen, you don't want to read my magazine, that's fine. You don't want to read Gokhshtein Magazine, that's fine. There's plenty of other sources that you can go ahead and turn to. They can turn to you on YouTube. We can turn to other outlets that provide real education without referral links. Okay, to go ahead and educate you on some of the most fantastic projects that I've seen personally in my 38 years on this planet.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think that you guys are on the right track for the magazine, and it's a free magazine, so obviously there's a little bit of incentive to get some insight into the way that you guys approach the industry, and I think you guys have the right approach. But you're not all just about cryptocurrency, and it is a lifestyle magazine, and you've branched even further into other emerging trends. And I just want to touch on this briefly about the esports trend, right? Because I've noticed it in Canada as well, that after the blockchain trend, wasn't the number one trend, it started moving into esports as well. And I know this is the same in America, and you guys have dove into that a little bit. Could you touch on how you've got involved in esports so far?
So I've always wanted to put my hand into esports. I've been talking about this for about 3 to 4 years. But first you have to learn about it. You can't just dive in. I'm still learning, but I felt comfortable enough to go ahead and, reach out to Mazer Gaming, and we inked a deal to go ahead and form a partnership. Mazer Gaming has the #2 team in Gears. For those who know about sport, about video games, Gears, they have the #2 Gears team in the world. Not the United States, the world. And it's just a cool. They have the esports model has more viewership than the NBA right now. So to get those eyes, my thinking was to get those eyes, the 18 to 35-year-old crowd. They're older, but let's just take the 18 to 35-year-old crowd and bring them into the crypto space, or because essentially that's what we're doing here, to bring them into the crypto space. Now you're bringing a new crowd. Like, I talk about this about conferences, and not to go off record, but I'm gonna do this real quick. We go to all these conferences, you see the same faces, same face, same face, same speaker, same face, same speaker, right? Now you bring in about 65 million viewers into the crypto space who are interested in crypto, and now you get to educate them. And also the way it integrates, a lot of the esports players, they play these games. You had, the kid, I'm sorry I forget your name, but he won $3 million for Fortnite.
Yeah.
$3 million. Okay? That's a lot of money. And yet there's a lot of these tournaments, and these kids don't get paid.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they don't get paid. So what better than to incorporate blockchain and smart contracts into esports to make sure that once that event is over, you are paid.
For sure.
So that's, besides being in love with the entire industry, I'm not really good at video games. You can probably beat me in Call of Duty, but in general, like, to be an esports player and to go into something, win, and make sure that you actually get that money back or get your prize money, that's a hell of a thing. And I think blockchain can solve that problem. Smart contracts can solve that problem of, tournament runners getting away with taking all the money and not giving or paying out to the teams nor the players, or vice versa, where the teams don't play the players. So
it's really interesting because gamers sort of almost had the first versions of cryptocurrency with in-game currencies, and then the first cryptocurrency exchange that got huge was the Mt. Gox, which is the Magic the Gathering online exchange, which was from a video game as well. So there is that affiliation, but esports has just grown so large that, as you said, it's practically the second largest sport in America, ahead of all of these major traditional sports and people still have no idea how big that it's going to get, because it's not at its peak yet. So to be able to bridge those two industries in an industry of gamers that are already attracted to technology and can see the benefits, I think that would be an easy integration. So that's great that you guys are getting into it.
It's something that's slept on in reality, because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. It's not just this little section here that at most you earn $1 million. No, this is a multi-billion-dollar business. They're building an arena. I'm talking about an arena the size of maybe the Staples Center to go ahead and have tournaments. Okay, like, this is a major player, and like, people are sleeping on it. So that's why for me, like, it was a huge thing to go ahead and partner up with Mazer Gaming, especially having the second best team in the world, to go ahead and expand and at the same time spread the word about cryptocurrency. It's just another avenue to go ahead and have our voices heard.
That's awesome, David. Well, we only have limited time, so I want to jump to the next topic here. I know that you have brought up your congressional candidacy in New York as a Republican. Can you briefly touch on what inspired you to do this, and how is it going so far?
So what it started off as, like, we're having a meeting, general meeting with Gokhshtein Media members, and Vinny, the co-founder. Vinny Riley, really good guy. I'm sitting back and I'm like, I'm just we have no voices here. I'm just gonna go ahead and run. And what started off as a sort of like a joke has turned into people DMing me and pushing me and saying, hey, it's a good idea. We need somebody to go out there and just like voice, have our voices heard about blockchain. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. And people don't even understand. Like they might, a lot of people might think this is a joke, but like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm not a politician at all. So if I do win, I'm going in there as just straight shooting. This is what I believe in, but at the end of the day, win or lose, as I said to you earlier, I want to make sure that our voices are heard. I think the laws that we have in place right now are not laws that pertain to this space. It hurts Americans, especially here in the United States, not understanding blockchain, not understanding cryptocurrencies, and thinking, I think the perception of cryptocurrency goes all the way back to Silk Road. So nobody's actually, thinking about the technologies and the projects that are in place right now that can actually benefit people. So I really want to go ahead and get in there, and it'll be one of the topics that I'm running on, but I really want people to know about it, and win or lose, again, our voices will be heard. I promise you.
Yeah.
Especially with the support, all the DMs, I really appreciate it. I will make sure that people know about blockchain here, and hopefully they can pass, legislation that actually helps us and doesn't hurt us. Doesn't have projects from the United States leave to other countries because they can't work here because it's so regulated.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll have the backing of the blockchain and the cryptocurrency industry throughout America. And I know New York specifically can be a tough area for legislation with regards to blockchain. And I know a lot of companies went through that bit license debacle a few years back. But besides blockchain, are there any other topics that you're passionate about to bring to the table for your Congress standing?
Absolutely. School systems, not having teachers sit in a classroom with 50 kids. We have to do something about that. The way our police department, law enforcement, the way they're treated right now in New York City is horrific. And we need to do something about it. I speak to a lot of law enforcement people, and they're just they shake their heads. They're like, we can't do nothing. And it's not like, listen, there's always a bad apple on anywhere you look. There's a bad apple, but at the end of the day, you can't handcuff them and not let them do their jobs. So those are particularly two. I'd like to, the economy's fine. Let's make it better. Economy is doing well right now. There's little things that need to be changed.
That's great.
And I feel like, a younger voice will be able to go ahead and do that. Hopefully that young voice is me.
And if people are looking to follow your voice or learn more about Gokhshtein, what's the best way for them to follow along?
We are going to get the website up. And it's going to be votegokhshtein.com. Besides that, you can go ahead and follow me on David Gokhshtein on Twitter, David Gokhshtein on Instagram, Gokhshtein.com. You can go ahead and pick up a free magazine. We have 12 out, so go ahead, select whatever you'd like. It's all free. It's free. It's being given away, and a lot of work has been put into it. So again, if you'd like to send me an email, DM, my DMs are always open. I always try to answer everybody. You can always tweet out to me. I'm always online. It seems like 24/7.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave all those links in the description box below for the viewers, David. And thank you so much for your time. Let's follow up in the near future.
Ashton, thank you very much for taking the time. Thank you very much for giving me a channel to speak on, an outlet to speak on.